Well, I'm sitting down here with Eric. It's been often requested. We're finally going to do it. This is the Cardinal Companion transfer portal video for the football. Let's go ahead. Let's get right into it and roll the footage. Welcome on in, welcome on in, welcome on into the Cardinal Companion. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on when and where you're watching in from. I am always your boy Josh. I'm joined by my friend Eric, UVL Recruiting One on Twitter. How you doing, Eric?
Good, man. What's going on out there to Card Nation?
Yeah, man. I love these videos. I love when we get to kind of work together. Just two recruiting guys just talking what we enjoy, and that's recruiting, baby. And the portal is that at the end of the day. So this is a little delayed. We're doing this on March 22nd. Oh, there's a kitty cat. Hey, kitty cat. Big cat channel. We love cats, except for the Kentucky Wildcats.
Yes, sir.
But we've been kind of sitting on this one. As I've said a few times on this channel, we like to slow drip you guys content. There's no reason to rush into things. Eric, myself, Cardinal Companion, UL Cody, Ty Spalding. We did more than enough content during the actual portal through live shows. So this is kind of us just sitting down and doing something a little pre-recorded and a little fun, man. For everyone kind of following along with this video, just so you have a pretty good up-to-date, I believe, Eric, you and I both were using the 247 rankings throughout this video, right?
Yes, yeah. I like 247 over on 3 for portal.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like 247 has kind of smoothed out the process, but that's a completely different conversation when we get into that. We're not going to talk about every single kid here. Just fair warning for everyone involved. No offense if we don't bring up someone's name. It's just we're going to kind of keep it to, the bigger names, the names of interest, because at the end of the day, Louisville did have a very deep portal class like they normally do. And if we sat here and we talked about all 20-plus kids, we'd be here for a while.
For 3 hours.
Yeah. We'd have a long show. The first thing before we talk about the kids that Louisville brought in, let's talk a little bit about the departures. So I'm not going to talk about every single one. Is there a certain departure that just you didn't like?
Man, I would have gone if they didn't come back, like AJ Green or one of those guys. But really, the guys that Louisville lost into the portal, I mean, yes, it sucks to lose them at the end of the day, but at the same time, I feel like we replaced them with better quality. And so, in my mind, I'm not really that upset about guys going. I mean, it is, they're going to chase the bag. They're going to do what they're going to do. They're going to go put for playing time. It's every kid's got their own decision to make, and I wish them nothing but the best. But I think, like I said, we replaced them with better quality players.
I agree. I think this season, and not to sound crappy, Louisville's still at the point where they haven't had like a major loss in the portal, and that includes this past cycle. To be completely honest, I'm not a fan of losing the amount of quarterbacks that you did. Just being truthful, I don't like that a lot, especially Cardinal Companion, he's a big Deuce Adams guy. I'm a big Mason Mims guy. So I don't like seeing those guys leave the program. But, just with how Louisville has kind of constructed their quarterback room since Jeff Brom has been here, I get it. But just losing both of them stings a lot more than just losing one of them, in my opinion. So if you would have been able to, retain one, I think that would have been great for the program.
Yeah, I mean, I'll agree with you on that. I think out of the two, I'm kind of more with you. I'm a Mason Mims guy. And so if you would have given me the choice to keep one of those two between Hims and Adams, I would have taken Mims every day.
Yeah. And, I say a lot. I said it publicly on Twitter what happened. Mason Mims is going to be one of those guys. He went down to, I believe, did he go to North Alabama?
East Tennessee State.
Okay, so he went to ETSU. He's going to be a guy that's going to transfer up in like a season or two and is going to get right back in Power 4.
I'm interested. I'm going to watch. I'm very interested to see that quarterback battle because they landed not only Mims, but they also got Jaden Davis. He's a former 4-star from Michigan.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious how that quarterback battle plays out there for him.
And then I think in the future, 2 years from now, there's going to be a lot of people in Louisville watching the Wisconsin quarterback battle.
Yeah.
Between Deuce Adams and Jax and then Sorgi. That's going to be there's going to be some people watching that.
That'd be interesting. Yeah. I agree with you, man. I'd be interested to see what happens there as well.
Hey, real quick while I have you here, if you're enjoying this show and you want to see more just like it, hit that red subscribe button right now. It literally takes 1 second. When you subscribe and turn on notifications, you're never going to miss a drop. whether it's the next big breakdown, new pickups, giveaway, or just me and the boys ranting about how much we love the cards. Seriously, tap, subscribe, plus hit that bell. Let's keep moving this community together. Now back on over to the video. Peace. But let's get right into it, into the Louisville additions. In my opinion, the best player they added in the class. He's the number one ranked player in their class. That'd be Trey Richardson, the wide receiver from Vanderbilt. Coming in at 5'10", 175. He looked like he was Pavia's number one target majority of the time. If it wasn't for him, it was the tight end that Vandy had. This kid is a superstar. Like, this
Yeah,
is,
man. I have high hopes for Richardson this year. I know he's coming off of I think he had surgery on his foot, I believe,
yeah,
in
yep.
the spring. Should be good to go though, I believe by summer or early fall. But I definitely have high hopes for Richardson. I think he could be a 1,000-yard receiver easily here at Louisville. I think they're going to look to get him the ball a lot. And to me, he's almost the perfect mix of what we had last year between Colin Lacey as far as like the short route slot receiver, but he can also go deep, like a la Chris Bell. He's just not obviously doesn't have the height that Chris Bell had. But man, he can do anything all over the field. I think he's going to be a stud in this offense.
No, I agree. I think there's a very real argument to be made that he'll be one of the 5 best receivers coming into the ACC next year.
Oh yeah,
I mean, this kid is legit, and it really goes to show the new day and age of college athletics, where Louisville is able to essentially poach a receiver from an SEC school that was top 25 most of last season. And I know they're Vanderbilt, but still, it says something.
yeah. I mean, and if anybody out there hasn't watched him play, whether they didn't watch a lot of Vandy, I'm not going to blame anybody, but the dude is lightning quick as well. That's what really excites me about him. I mean, yes, he can catch the ball, and yes, he's got great ball skills as far as going up and getting it, but the dude has some speed that we haven't seen a receiver in a long time here.
Yep. We'll keep it kind of in the pass game realm. Number 2 player they brought in, ranked as a 92 overall. I believe he was the number 1 tight end in the portal, wasn't he, for a little bit? Brody Foley?
For a little while, yeah, I don't know if he ended up the number 1 tight end, but I know at one point he's at least top 3.
Yeah. So Brody Foley from Tulsa. Again, another kid, if you haven't watched, you got to go watch his highlight film. This kid is insane. This is the best tight end prospect we probably had in 20 years here at Louisville.
Yep, I 100% agree with you there. He reminds me a lot. I mean, I'm gonna throw kind of a mixture here, but he's big like Jamari Johnson was for recent guys, but he reminds me a lot of Gary Barnidge, just a little bit better. If we want to go back to like the Orange Bowl years in the mid 2000s, dude can run, dude can catch, dude can block, dude's quick. I mean, I love this pickup for Louisville.
Yeah, I think it's a phenomenal pickup. This is one where I hope that, if Jeff can get the tight end play right, this is a guy that could easily have 600, 700 yards.
Yeah. I expect for them, and this is kind of where I think it's going to go. I think you'll see them use Richardson to get down into the red zone, and then once they're in the red zone, could definitely see a lot of Foley action down there.
And then we will talk about the next guy in the pass game. Their third best recruit out of the portal, 4-star, 92 overall from 247. That is LaWayne McCoy, wide receiver from Florida State. And I'm going to tell you what. So this kid he has really good measurables, 6'1", 180s, what 247 has him in. He doesn't look like he's 180. Watching spring ball. Kid looks jacked. I believe he had 400 yards last year for the Seminoles, somewhere
Yeah,
around there.
yep, he's a former 4-star. I believe he was a top 150 player in the class when he came out of high school. His issue at Florida State, I think he just kind of got buried on the 2 deep, and then Florida State's Florida State. I'm not going to go in that whole scheme of things, but they just didn't use him well down there in the offense. I think had they used him to his potential, he definitely could have been a much higher rated guy in the portal than he already is or was.
I mean,
The
point.
dude has.
I was going to say point blank. What I've heard is Florida State. This was a kid that they absolutely did not want to lose.
Yeah, I think he was
And that
he was
tells me.
slotted to be a starter for him this year, and like you said, he has all the height. I mean, he reminds me a lot of Ja'Cory Brooks.
Yeah, yeah,
If
I
you watch
get
his
it.
highlights from high school and even his game action film from Florida State, a lot of Ja'Cory Brooks and him. He can high point the ball really well. I mean, I think that's one of his strongest suits in his game is going up and getting the ball. and then he'll make some catches that just make your mouth drop open.
Yep. Going on down the line a little bit more, we're going to get into the defensive side of the ball. So, in my opinion, before we get into this conversation, there wasn't really a lot that needed to be added on the defense this year. You brought back a really, really good squad. I mean, you had a top 20 unit last year. Like, you're just anything. You're not adding guys because you absolutely had to on the defense. You're really just getting better. But next guy they brought in is Cohen Interger from Iowa. He's a safety, and my God, does this kid get me excited?
Yeah, dude. Probably one of my favorite players they added in this class is him. If you watch highlights of him, he can hit like a Mack truck. I think he's going to be one of the hardest hitting safeties in the ACC this year. If you go across the middle, if you're an opponent and you go across the middle, you better get ready to get laid out. But besides just being a hard hitter, he also has great ability to read a defense or read an offense. And I mean, just ball instinct and football IQ is high for him. If there's one thing I think to me that he would probably need to work on some, it's just maybe ball placement, ball skill, like going up for the ball. But I mean, he's going to be a stud on this defense, and I think is something that is going to be very, very, very improved. He's going to get back end for Louisville.
The way I kind of describe his play, you remember all the nice things we said about Broadnax? He's a more mature Broadnax. You know, they are typecasting what they want out of their safety room, and I love every minute of it.
Yep. If we want to go player comparison recently, remember Calvin Pryor, that's who this guy reminds me of. Just like I said, a little bit of polish here, but he's going to be a stud on the defense, and a name you're going to hear a lot.
Yeah. Getting a little more into it. Really, the big one I think everyone has wanted to talk about. That's the quarterback. Lincoln Logs, baby. Old Lincoln Kineholes from the University of Ohio State. It's trademarked.
We put that in there. They don't get mad at you.
The University of Ohio State. Lincoln Kineholz, old Lincoln Logs. I'll be honest with you, man. When I first heard the news, Lowell's name was really getting thrown around for a lot of really good quarterback talent in the portal pretty early on. And Lincoln was the guy that they were like, you know what? This is who we want. I'll be honest, I wasn't a huge fan of it. Then I really sat down. I started reading a lot about Lincoln, started kind of looking around at practice reports from like sites from 11 Warriors. And now obviously that I've seen him in spring ball. I get it. I get it 100%. I think what you're seeing is, I think a pickup like Lincoln Logs is an evolution of the Jeff Brom offense. I think that Jeff, when he had Tyler Shuck, he kind of looked around and he said, well, wait a second. If I have a quarterback that's just a little bit mobile, we could do some cool stuff. And he looked around and he said, well, Raiola's coming off a broken fibula. He's like, Anthony Richardson's can't really throw the ball. Or I'm sorry, not Anthony Richardson. Who's the DJ Lagway? They're the same person. They're the same person in my opinion. DJ Lagway. They're like, DJ Lagway can't throw the ball. Raiola's coming off a broken femur. Lincoln Kineholz. Colton Joseph was just a guy that never really panned out like we thought he would in the portal. I believe he ended up coming to Florida State. Lincoln Kineholz comes available, and I get it. I like it. You know, everything I've seen about Lincoln in spring ball, he reminds me a lot of Tyler Shuck. I don't think he is refined as Tyler Shuck. And, you know, if we're saying that about a kid's not as refined as the second-round draft pick and the guy currently starting in the NFL, 2 years removed, I'll take that. You know, that's fair. That's fair. This kid is a warrior, dude. He's a hard hitter. He's an athletic kid. He can sling the ball. He's not afraid of contact. I'm excited to see Lincoln Logs play.
So, all right. So I've got a lot of friends that are Ohio State fans. I've got guys that I know that played there, that went there, people that just fans in general. Everybody I've talked to about Lincoln, since he committed here, said that they would have rather had him leading the offense last year than Julian Sayin. So that to me right there tells you how much they appreciate him at the Ohio State. The other thing I like about Lincoln, man, he's a gym rat. He's a leader. He's going to be the first guy to pick a guy up off the field if he gets knocked down. And I think that's something that we missed last year with Moss. I mean, everybody has their own opinion of how Miller Moss played for the Cardinals, but the one thing that kind of, I don't know, just always bothered me about him is, offensive lineman goes down, receiver, running back goes down. He didn't help get him up. Being a quarterback, you have to be a leader, and that's something you have to do, and that's something that Lincoln is. And I'm with you, man. I'm really excited about him. I'm even gonna go so far on my hot take. I'll say he'll be a top 3 quarterback in the ACC next year.
I like
I'm
that.
very high on him. I'm
I
very, very
like
high
that.
on him.
I hope that's true. I think it could be with the weapons around him. I think it very easily could be. Um, I like that. I like that a lot.
Like
I
I
like
said,
that.
there's a reason a lot of Ohio State fans did not want to see him leave. I think a lot of guys wanted him over saying from people I talked to, and I mean, everybody you talk to from Ohio State loves him and has nothing but good things to say about Lincoln.
Yeah, I know it's been thrown around a million times. Every single person on radio has said it. Every single podcast has said it. He won the Iron Buckeye Award, man. That's a big deal to us Louisville fans all of a sudden. And now we're getting into the your fun part of the show, where we get to start talking about the offensive line. Um, Eric's Daughtry.
Yes, man.
I like
I
it.
love this. I love this guy's going to be probably the best offensive lineman we've had. I'll go back even to like Mekhi Becton. Dude is going to be a mauler on the offensive line. He can play any position. He can go out to guard, tackle, center. Footwork is amazing. The only downside I think people knock him for when he was at Boston College was his strength, and I'm going to fully expect that to be polished off by the time ball gets here in fall from the strength coach and staff. Um, I'm really high on this kid, man. I think he could be I mean, if he has a good season and does everything I think he can do, I think he can work himself into like a top 1 or 2 round pick in the NFL.
So
I think he's like,
do you think he'll play right or left guard here?
I think he'll put him on left probably. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
because I think it'd be Lincoln's blind side. So yeah, they'll put him at left. Um, but like I said, be prepared to see him play multiple positions. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not, if he's listed as a starter at left guard and then, he's the backup right tackle or something like that. I mean, he's that good. And like I said, he's going to be one of the best linemen Louisville fans have seen in quite a while here.
That was a big pickup. Also, I remember when he entered. Um, I think he entered like day 3, day 4 of the portal. There was
Hmm.
a solid like 2 or 3 days where he was getting graded as the best offensive lineman in the portal.
Yep.
And then
And
magically when he committed to Louisville, he got dropped from a 4-star to a 3-star.
yeah, I mean, I know he visited, I think Vandy, and then I know Alabama was interested in him, and
Mm-hmm.
Auburn, and I want to say Miami as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm really high on him, man. I think he's going to be really good.
And then taking it over, staying on the offensive line, talking about offensive tackle now. Another guy that was pretty highly ranked and highly sought after for his services, Casey Henry from old South Carolina. He'll be playing tackle. What are your initial thoughts on Casey?
So I believe he's coming off an injury, isn't he?
He
I can't
is.
remember if
He
was him.
is.
So from the time I saw him play, and mostly it's been his high school highlights. I'll be honest, I haven't really looked into any highlights from South Carolina of him. Dude has the talent. I think the biggest issue has had, at least from what I've heard and read at South Carolina, was just kind of putting it all together. Um, I mean, he almost kind of reminds me. I mean, not the height wise or size wise or build wise, but kind of like what Willie Tyler that came from Rutgers a few years ago. Uh,
Mhm.
Kind of the same thing. I mean, they both had issues kind of putting it all together. And I mean, Tyler had a heck of a year here when he was at Louisville, and I think Henry can do the same thing. I think, like I said, he's just going to take some coaching and then just getting him kind of to fully buy in and get it all together. But I think if he can do that, he could be a very good tackle. That's why I'm excited, man, to throw him at left tackle and then the left guard there, what we were just talking about, and see how good that left side could be. I mean, I think they could have a very, very dominant left side of the line.
Yeah, I agree. And again, a guy that he was highly sought after throughout the SEC. There's something there at the end of the day, and
I mean,
I think
look at South Carolina now. They've got, I think their 2 projected starters at tackle are out with ACL injuries for the year. So I mean, they would love to have. I'm sure they'd love to have him back now.
yeah. Keep on going down the list. We're gonna talk a little about the defense. Tyler Thompson from North Carolina. I'll tell you what, man. This is the best edge rushing room Louisville has had probably in ever.
Yeah, I mean, I would say you'd go back maybe to like the Orange Bowl years or like when they had like Doomerville and guys like him. But I mean, I can't even tell you how long it's been
They
since I can have this much talent.
they have like Tyler's one of these guys. I don't mean to get us too off topic. They got like 3 or 4 guys that legit will probably be playing in the NFL in the edge
Mhm.
rusher room alone right now. Tyler
Yeah.
Thompson come from North Carolina. This kid has all the physical tools needed to be a first round draft pick. 6'4", 240. He's cut. It's not a fat 240. It is a freak of nature Igor and Godzilla 240. This kid is a monster. And I don't, my thing that I keep asking myself is you can't put them all on the field at the same time. So
So here's where I stand on it, man. Like I'm with you, everything you said about him. I just wonder if they're not going to play him as like a hybrid stand up edge. Like
I
put
could see that.
you know
I could see it.
put him out there with the two guys and then one interior lineman and have him as like a stand up kind of between the edge and the linebackers and kind of like an edge rusher. Or you could drop into coverage and play coverage backer if he had to.
Yeah, I mean, like essentially the way I look at it is like this is your Justin Beatles replacement. No disrespect to Justin Beatles, but my God, I mean, this is a kid where I wish I could put more words to it, and it's really bad on video me doing this. But this kid's a freak of nature. This kid's gonna see the field, and this kid's probably gonna get like 5, 6 sacks for you next year.
Mhm.
I mean,
I mean, I
he
agree
has a
with you. Everything you
motor.
said.
He has an inside move. He has the speed. Like he has every single physical skill he could need. He just needed the system. And I think we got the system for him here.
I mean,
Um,
I fully expect. I mean, we had our starters last year on the line. They gave us great play, and then kind of when we went to the two deep and backups, it was a little bit of a drop off. I fully expect to see like hockey sub changes this year. Like we're just gonna pull the whole line out and replace it with a new whole other line and not take a step back. I'm very excited
yeah,
about the defensive line this year.
I think yeah, you're gonna have the ability to have like a legit NFL pass rusher fresh at all times,
Hmm.
and that is in this level of play, the ACC. We just saw Miami do it, and look how good they, you know, I mean, they and I
I mean, you look
think,
at. I
oh,
mean, if you
sorry,
say
you go
you go
ahead.
use the Miami example, I mean, they had Bain and Mesidor, and then their backup was I think of the guy's name. He was a Blunt or whatever his name was, Amondre
Yeah,
Blunt.
yep.
That's how I think Louisville's going to play with Thompson. It's going to be we've got our studs at starters, and then hey, we're going to throw you in for a third and long, and you're going to go all out and try to get us out. But basically, be like you said, a fresh body that comes in that has NFL talent that can just come in and dominate an offensive tackle in the third quarter when they need to.
This might seem, and I don't mean to derail this conversation, this might seem a little silly, but there is a lot of Miami esque roster construction on the defense this year. I
Hmm.
think that they saw something there that they really, really liked. And, might not be doing it at the 5-star level that Miami's doing it at because of, high school recruiting, NIL, whatever. But you're doing a pretty damn good job of it through the transfer portal. Like,
Yeah.
pretty damn good job here.
Yep. I agree with you, man. I'm
Uh,
excited, man. I think that D line is going to be awesome this year.
And then next guy on the list, staying on the defense, back in the safety room again, that is TJ Banks from Ole Miss. 6'3", 200 per 247. This is more of your ball hawk, in my opinion, back there. And this is not a guy that I don't think he will really start, but I think he's going to get some very, very good reps, if that makes sense. And I think he's a guy that will be in quite a bit as a reserve player, and he's a good player for that.
This guy is going to be my surprise guy out of the
Oh,
whole quarter class.
okay.
I think Banks is going to eventually work his way in. It may not be first game of the season, but I think on midseason, I think he will start. Uh,
Okay.
he got buried at Ole Miss in their depth chart. He played, but look at what Ole Miss lost on the defense after last past season. They lost guys that are going to be in the NFL, and this guy was right there nipping at their heels to play. I have high expectations for Banks, man. I think he is going to be really good.
Well, and this is another kid where everybody was in on him. Louisville fought
Yeah,
and clawed to get him.
yeah. Like I said, man, like you said, everything you said, and then the thing I like about him the most is his ability to read an offensive play is outstanding.
Mhm.
I mean, he knows if you go back and watch his highlights from Ole Miss and even in high school, he's calling the play out is as a defensive back to his other defenders saying, "Hey, they're gonna run left on a sweep, or they're gonna run a zone read, or they're gonna, whatever it may be, throw a slant." He's there. He knows what it's gonna be before that ball is snapped. And
Uh,
that's why I think he is going to be a very big surprise to a lot of people, I think, this year. I feel have high expectations for him, man.
Next guy on the list is a running back. It's a big dog guy. Talking about Marquise Davis from Missouri. This is my hot take. This is going to be my very hot take. Marquise Davis will be your newest 1,000-yard rusher at Louisville. Might not happen this year, but this kid's legit. This kid is
It is
legit as
good, dude.
shit, dude.
I mean, look, so he was a one-time Kentucky commit back
Yes.
before he flipped to Missouri. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I knock Kentucky a lot, but when he committed there, I was a little bit worried because this dude, like you said, think a bigger Isaac Brown. That's how I'll describe him. He has the speed, not quite as fast as Isaac. I mean, he's not going to top out probably over 20 miles an hour, but he has that speed of I'm going to hit the hole and I'm going to get 5 or 6 yards before I ever get touched kind of speed. He may not run away from a guy, but he is going to get through that hole and he is big. He is powerful. He will drive those legs. He will get the first down if you need it.
Yeah. With that being said, that's just kind of the top half, I would say, of the portal hole. Is there anyone else you want to bring up specifically?
So I'll go one more guy, and he was a late addition in the defensive backfield as well. I believe he's coming out from a D2 school. Is Bryson Scott? I've heard great things about him so far. I don't think he'll start, but I think he will see some PT and just kind of a name to watch as somebody who, if we get hit by the injury bug or something like that, he could end up playing and giving you some quality reps. But I think he can be very good for us.
Okay. I got one that I want to bring up. It's a cornerback from Texas, Santana Wilson. Very highly regarded coming out of high school. Hasn't really seen the field at Texas. If I'm not mistaken, he is an underclassman, correct?
Yeah, I think he's a sophomore.
Yeah.
I
With a
believe.
red shirt. He's from Scottsdale, Arizona. This kid has all the physical tools. It's just getting on the field, and Texas just didn't happen for some reason. He's one of those guys where I see these sort of pickups where I say, okay, cool, former blue chip, coming off of a power school, we take these kids.
Right. Yeah, I think
So
he can be very good as well, like you said.
yeah. With that being said, though, something I want to talk about that does not get brought up in these recruiting rankings whatsoever. That's the players you retained. And I think it is impossible to talk about Louisville's transfer portal class without talking about two key players that you retained. The first off, as we all know, is going to be Isaac Brown. The second, Antonio Watts. Your ability to retain both those players. Isaac Brown will be a top 3 running back preseason going into next year. He just will be. I mean, based off
Yep.
his production, looking around the country, he's probably going to have another 1,000-yard season, and it would not surprise me whatsoever if he stays healthy that he's a finalist for the Heisman, even being a running back. He's that damn good. He is. I mean, most people would argue he is the best running back in the country going into next year. Well, not most. There's a good amount of people would argue that, not just U of L fans either. Um,
Yeah, I agree with
I
you.
mean, I
I
can
think the
tell
next.
you. Oh, sorry.
Oh, we did.
You go first.
That's like my thing with Isaac Brown, man. I agree with everything you said. It's just he gotta stay healthy, and I'm hoping a more experienced, better O line will help him with that. But he's gotta stay healthy for the whole season. If he can do that, I put money on it. He'll be up in New York for the Heisman. He may not win it, but he'll definitely be there.
I agree. And what I was going to point out is just with Isaac Brown, we all know the current landscape at the NCAA. Everybody's tampering. And Isaac was getting phone calls from Texas, Georgia, Alabama, Indiana, Ohio State. I mean, there's that's the type of player we're talking about here, where Isaac Brown could legitimately walk into any single running back room in the country and be the starter and be a 1,000-yard rusher. Unless he's playing at like Boston College, which would never happen. Um, just how impressive it is, Louisville's ability to retain him, especially after he entered the transfer portal, and to fight off some of the schools I mentioned. Second thing, Antonio Watts. So the Antonio obviously is the Cardinal Companion. We always talk about Antonio Watts. We love Antonio Watts, right? Antonio Watts does not
Yes,
show
sir.
out. He is so much more productive than what the stat sheet says. He is the ultimate glue guy that I've seen, and I'd argue he's the best star linebacker in the country. Now that's not a tracked position, and all that is very hyper specific because only so many programs are running 4.25 still. Well, probably about a quarter of college football, realistically. But he's the best at doing it. And Antonio left, or didn't leave. He entered the portal after the news came out about Ron English and Louisville's ability to retain him without naming a defensive coordinator till 2 months later says a lot about uh, Louisville's ability to, really their NIL ability, what they're able to do with their packages. And again, it's a guy that could go to pretty much any system or any 4.25 program in the country and play meaningful minutes. And Louisville's able to retain that kind of guy. That
Right.
says a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you said about Watts. I think he's the leader of the defense. He's a guy that, everybody sees the quarterback out there making adjustments, making reads on the offense. Defense has that guy, and that's Antonio Watts. And I cannot understate how big it is to get him back. I think it's going to make a world of a difference for this defense this year.
Yeah, I agree. But with that, Eric, you have anything else you want to hit on?
I mean, I think we kind of hit on all the key points there. Some of the big names in the portal to watch out for. I'm very excited for this team, man. I think if everybody stays healthy, it could be a very special year for Louisville football.
I completely agree. With that being said, though, if you like Louisville football and you kind of enjoy the style of content, really talking about players, talking about what we're doing, please do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, give us a like, maybe throw us a comment. Which player are you really excited about at this transfer portal haul? We will catch you guys next time, and go Cards.
Go Cards.